Shalom, shalom. Welcome back to the channel. In this video, I want to tell you what expat life is really like in Mauritius. So stay tuned until the end, especially if you've been on YouTube and Google University searching, hey, should I move to Cape Verde? Should I move to Mauritius? What's life like in Mauritius? We're about to tell you in this video. So the first thing that sticks out big time about Mauritius is the infrastructure. Coming from America, or even if you're coming from Europe, if you're coming from somewhere that has excellent infrastructure, then you're gonna want that, especially if you're an entrepreneur, if you're a digital nomad, if you work online, if you own a business online, or if you want to own a business that is successful that you don't have to throw money at and waste, then Mauritius is the ideal place due to the infrastructure. Power outages don't really happen that often, and if and when they do, they last for about 2 minutes, 3 minutes, something like that. Okay, and the Wi-Fi here is immaculate. Like, we are a large family, we have online businesses, we work online, we need Wi-Fi like pretty much constantly. Our children want to play on the iPad, they're doing their things, they're doing homeschool online, and so Wi-Fi is so important for us. And it's good to be in a country that has such fabulous infrastructure. The roads here are also pretty good. Now, there are some dirt roads, and I like the mix that in the main city areas like Port Louis and, the other areas, they have roads that are excellent. It's clean. But then you also have like our little yard over here across from our house looks like a little wilderness, which I think is very beautiful. So it has that nice mix of island feel and infrastructure, okay?
Yes, the infrastructure is very nice here, guys. It's very similar to what we came from. And really, when we first came here to Africa, um, coming to Tanzania, the infrastructure wasn't much like Mauritius, right? So we had to adjust a little bit. But once we came here to Mauritius, it's like, oh, wow, like, okay, so Africa does, have some good things here. But I wanted to speak about the community, right? I believe this is the most important part when you go to an African country. How is the local community treating the visitors? How are they treating tourists? And they treat tourists very well. Everywhere we've been, all the relationships that I have here in Mauritius is very pure. Everybody is really like an uncle to me, or like a brother. There's something about really loving your neighbor, very pure, and Mauritius really has that. The community, the local people around, they do not look at you a certain way just coming from America. Um, just from the stories that we hear and stuff about Mauritius, we haven't really experienced that at all. It's always love everywhere we go. The restaurants we go to, the tea place that my wife loves. You get what I'm saying? We walk up and they already know our order. So it's always a good thing here in Mauritius when we go out, when we see people that might see us on videos such as this. They say, "Oh yes, I love the information that you bring out," and that just brings joy to us. That brings, hey, okay, they are listening, they are paying attention, and we love it. We love Mauritius very much, very much, and we want to spread the word that this is a good country to come to in Africa. There's a lot of things that's happening in Africa that seems that it doesn't have that unity, but here in Mauritius, they have a unity. This community is very pure, and they really treat, just from our experience, us very, very like their own.
Yes,
So
exactly. The community is so welcoming. It's so refreshing to see people who watch our channel of all different nationalities. It's such a beautiful thing, especially coming from America. We grew up in Ohio. Ohio is not that diverse. So it's really cool to be somewhere that has a lot of people from South Africa, Nigeria, Cameroon, China, India, obviously the Mauritians, very diverse. And so it's a beautiful thing. Now, I want to talk about the residency options because Mauritius has the best residency options hands down in Africa, period. How do I know? Because I researched this like nonstop. I'm a strategist. I researched this stuff. And so we created this guide and it's curriculum that we use for our clients to scope out the best residencies in Africa. In Mauritius, Seychelles, Cape Verde, Kenya, South Africa, they have some of the best ones that are available for humans, period. Okay. Now, Mauritius, we do the premium visa because we're digital nomads. And if you don't know what a digital nomad is, you want to check out the Mauritius Africa playlist and go binge all of our content. But on the premium visa, you can own your online business, run your online business, submit your bank statements from your business, get your premium visa for free, and call it a day. Now, my mother wants to move to Mauritius soon, which is super exciting. And so I already know about the retirement visa from talking to different people and the Mauritius Economic Development Board website. By the way, if you're of retirement age and you're like, girl, let me see that, go to the Mauritius Economic Development Board website and check it out because they have all the information you need. There's no middleman needed. The Mauritius Economic Development Board has all the residency information that you need, and it's legitimate. Like, it's not a corrupt country. They're not going to post it on the website and then say, oh, that's not actually what it is. Like, no, what's on the website is legitimately what it is. And so I'm getting excited because my mom is wanting to move to Mauritius, which is fantastic. We have to go look for some apartments for her in the next few weeks and help her get her residence permit. Now, she's of retirement age, and so all she needs is $1,500 per month in pension paid to her bank, and she can get a 10-year retirement residence permit that she can renew for another 20 years if she would so like to choose doing that. And so, as you can see, they have, look, and let me put y'all onto something. Nobody else knows this because nobody really knows about this country except like the rich elite people that keep it to themselves. But listen, they have a 10-year self-employed entrepreneur visa where you can convert 35,000 US dollars into a Mauritian bank and get your 10-year self-employed entrepreneur visa, okay? Again, check out the Mauritius Economic Development Bank website. They have all the information there ready for you.
Yeah, guys, the real estate. I know you guys see. If you have not seen our house video, go check it out. But these houses here that they built is very beautiful. Everything, like every time me and my wife go for a walk around our neighborhood, we see that they're building and they're building super fast. So the real estate game here is unbeatable to me. If you have some money to invest in Africa, and you want to invest in real estate, come to Mauritius. Just as my wife was talking about how the residency process is very simple. Whatever is on that website, that's what it is. It's not trying to put you in a loop and you got to pay all this extra money. No, you just really have to look on that website, and it is what it is. So with the real estate opportunities, if you spend over 375,000 US dollars, you automatically get residency for 20 years, guys. 20 years. We know countries that we've been to and we had to prove that we make 150,000, and I believe it went up to 300,000 or something like that just to start a business and get 2 years. So guys, you got to really think about how everything is happening right now in the world for a reason. The stocks are down, everything is red. Investing, people are trying to diversify their money, and real estate is a long-term investment. This is a asset that you really need to think about when it comes to the future, right? Real estate is the name of the game. So Mauritius, 375,000. Also, guys, Mauritius finance things too. So if you put a nice down payment, they will finance you 70 to 90% depending on the bank that you choose. Like, we're trying to give you guys some gems now. We're trying to give you guys some gems now where if you watch this video, we planting seeds, and you need to really listen because we are in a time where things are changing super fast. People are really trying to figure out all over the world. This is not just happening in America, right? This is happening in Europe, countries in Europe. This is happening in Australia. This is happening in New Zealand. This is happening everywhere, guys. So we are a channel where we want to help people thrive. We want to help people learn how to sustain themselves long term, right? Really for the next generation, because that's what it is, guys. So Mauritius, guys, 70 to 90% financing. Think about that. 70 to 90% financing, right? I know that's kind of unheard of, to be honest. In Africa, think about that. In Africa, that's unheard of. So if you are interested, guys, do your research. And this might can be your research too. So all praises for that.
Yes, the education system, this is super important to us. We are a large family, we homeschool, but we also have a teenager. And so we're looking at colleges. We do not want our son to get in 60K, 100K in debt in America. That's foolish. That's not smart. I've learned from my ancestors and from my parents, my dad died at 53 with thousands. I mean, like 60K in student loan debt. Mind you, he had a fabulous job, fabulous house, fabulous inheritance. Shout out to my dad for that. May he rest in peace because he did what he was supposed to do. Proverbs says a good, righteous man leaves an inheritance for his children, and he did just that. But at the end of the day, there is so much student loan debt. And so that's something that we want to shift for the next generation. We do not want the next generation to deal with 60, 100, 200, 400K in student loan debt, where you can come to a country like Mauritius with a 98% literacy rate, and then they can go to school, they can go to college and we'll pay a couple thousand and you have your bachelor's degree. You pay a couple thousand, you could have your PhD, okay? And so the education system in Mauritius is something that is so beautiful. We were not aware of it before we came, but now that we're here, we're looking at it. We've heard Kenya also has a good education system. That's also a place we would potentially send our children to college, okay? Where you can get a great education at the perfect rate. That's not like crazy off the top out there, loads and loads of debt. We are not believers in getting loads and loads of debt, no matter how you spin it. The Bible says that the borrower is a slave to the lender. Okay. And so that's something that we want to embed in the next generation. And so it's so refreshing to be in a place where they have super high literacy rates. Now, we graduated from the best school in the nation of America at that time. And so literacy is something that's extremely important to us. We're not the types to just like be lazy with literacy rates. Literacy is so critical. Okay. And so this is why we choose Mauritius as our country for our family, even bringing different family members here. This is why it's like the perfect setup for those who are serious about their legacy. And back on the real estate piece again, we inherited property from my dad and it came in handy. And so if you are someone that has children and you want to leave a legacy, we understand people, if you don't have children, you may not relate, you may not be thinking like that. But when you have children and when you have experienced your parents leaving a legacy for you to help you, actual property invested in a great community, because with real estate, it's all about location, okay? So unless you're getting high capital gains, Mauritius has like 6 to 10% capital gains, depending on the area that you purchase property in, which is similar to the area that my father had bought property in like 20, 25 years ago. Okay. And so taking those lessons from those who have gone before us and saying, okay, we need to invest somewhere where my house is going to be worth much more than what I bought it at. Right. And so that's why Mauritius is the top place for us. Let us know your biggest takeaway from this video. Let us know what you look forward to about visiting in Mauritius. And like, comment, share, subscribe. We'll see you in the next one. Shalom, shalom.